Ladies and gentlemen, so I'm just going to focus on one aspect of the agenda here, which is how do you really get cutting-edge technology, and what are the steps Zen has done. We have more than 180 patents that we have applied for. Out of that, almost 90 have been granted till now, both global and Indian. And I personally think that R&D is the key to really rejuvenated India. And we have seen that in the recent operations also, that the indigenously developed products, especially by Zen Technologies, were able to successfully stop the drones coming from our enemies. And the war was not between Pakistan and India, as most of you know, it was between India and China. And we were able to thwart the Chinese drones, and very successfully, using completely inbuilt detector, jammer and radar. No inputs are contained in that at all. So what is it that, what will it take for us to become an R&D company? A lot of people, especially the MSMEs, they say, where do I have the bandwidth to do R&D? I can't do R&D because I'm so busy with my day-to-day activities that I can't do R&D. That reminded me of this, you have to do training of your employees. So the MSME CEO said, what if I train and the guy leaves? The answer, the coach said, what if you don't train and he stays back? So the problem is that if you don't do R&D, if you do R&D, what is the chance that you will actually develop new technology? What is the chance that it will be successful? All these are the ifs and buts. But the point is that if you don't do R&D, you are almost certain to be extinct in the next few years. Because you have nothing to have, you are just doing trading, or you're buying and selling, or you're doing some kind of a bare manufacturing which you are highly replaceable. Anybody comes with a cheaper solution, they can do it. So if you see, one of the biggest challenges you face when you develop IP, Indian-owned IP is, especially in the government agencies, what happens if you develop something really cutting edge, which Zen has done, which is not only India first but world first, and you want to give it to the government, what will happen? Any idea? Can the government buy it?
No, there's no benchmark for them.
Yeah, so let us say they are able to establish benchmarks. It's India first, and they have a benchmark of foreign price. Then what?
Even then, support is very difficult. I've seen it.
So they ask for three quotations, guys.
Yes.
They ask for three quotations. So the thing is, what I did at that point, I approached Mr. Parikar, who was in 2016. I gave him the example of iPhone. iPhone costs, in that time, Make in India was a big thing. So I said an iPhone costs $1,000. Out of that, bill of material is $245. And out of the remaining $755, I asked him, how much does the manufacturing cost? How much does Apple pay Foxconn for manufacturing? So any guesses here? How much they used to pay then? 50, 100, 200, anything? Sorry? So they were actually very close. They used to pay $5 for the Make in China component. The $750 was the ownership of for the IP ownership Apple used to get. Of course, they used to give to distributors and other things, but that is the IP premium. So we were playing a 0.5% game here, while 75% was being ignored. So when we went with this proposal saying that we are willing to develop for the Indian Army, we have developed, but our biggest problem is you ask for 3 vendors and you keep diluting the specs till you get the competition. So that means to say, I who have invested this money and my at loss. Parikar understood that immediately and introduced a category called Buy Indian IDDM, indigenously designed, developed and manufactured. And he said that even if there is a single vendor, we will accept it. So it is changing. Things are changing in defense. It's really extraordinarily growth areas for us. And again, what I am saying is, if you actually are able to identify an area of R&D and just where the brief background, 93 when we started, we had 4 things going on. One was software, hardware, and third was networking, and finally we also were doing on the side simulator development. And when we looked at it, we said we have to close down all the three because they're becoming commoditized. This simulator was the thing, there was a chance of survival and the bet paid off. So, maybe you probably may have to get off some of your businesses to really focus on something you really, really believe in, which has a large market and which will give you a chance of success when you go into the future. So if so I would say again, a lot of people say, where is the money for R&D? I don't know whether government, how the government, they have the schemes, but really the problem with the government funding is they ask you for so much of paperwork. Most of the MSCs are incapable of doing paperwork. They can do innovation, but they can't do paperwork. So, you have a chance to apply at least to this, the venture funds, PE funds that are there. They are willing to work out a very, very little paperwork with you. If you really have a passion for something, they will come after you and they will fund you. So, one of the examples is we recently, in 2018, we acquired a company, 51%, they were doing 19 projects. The problem with technocrats is they go after every interesting project. And so we sat with them and we said, let us shut down 18 of the projects. Let us focus on this anti-drone system. And we put in resources. It took us 5 years to get a product out, but that's what actually played out in Operation Silver. So, so we have this long, painful period of time, but your chance of success as a company and your chance of being satisfied as having a purpose in your life will be much, much higher if you go and develop some technology, which we are very good, and we have an edge over not, again, we have always believed we will not develop something for the Indian market. We always said that we will develop something for globally number one. So that should be your objective. You should be actually aiming. And another thing, a lot of times here is this, the boogie of China. China is, I don't consider them a competition at all. If you are able to do the R&D, in our simulators, in our anti-drone system, China is nowhere near to compete with us. And we have shown that all their dummy drones are not a match for our anti-drone systems. And again, a lot of people say that is defense because you get a preference in defense. What about commercial? Commercial, do we have an example where commercially China is not able to make even a small dent in Indian field?
All automobiles, almost all automobiles.
Or they are selling automobiles a lot. The BYDs and all that. Any other field? Motorcycles.
Motorcycles are
Zero. How many Chinese motorcycle brands have you heard here? I have not heard. If you are enthusiastic, you would have heard. Why is it that they are not being able to penetrate the motorcycle brand? Bajaj and TVS do crazy amount of R&D there. You just cannot beat the R&D that they do. So these guys will go after all the trading, all the buying and selling activities, but they cannot never beat India in the R&D activity. So again, as a responsibility, I think there is a ton of money to be made in R&D by project, but even as a purposeful and something that you're contributing to India, you should look at doing R&D for the country also. So with that, I'm here for some time. If you have any questions or something like that, please ask me. But thank you. I hope I have inspired you to do R&D. Thank you so much.